Used to go on inside here. Not everything, but a little bit. So if I can just run you through briefly 5 operational crew members, because when we used to go away with the airplane, I used to sit where you sit. Okay, dead comfortable. This crewman responsible for the bombing systems on the aircraft, and my colleague that was here before had pretty pictures to show you down there, so I'll show you my pretty pictures up here. They're the iron bombs. The first one you actually see down below is one of those 1,000 pounders, 21 of those on board, contained in these carriers. Seven to a carrier, so that's 3 carriers. And then we've got blue steel, which is that white thing that's stuck over there, and you can see particularly there loaded underneath. There's the blue steelies. Okay, look, underneath the aircraft, not in the bomb bay. And these are the pretty iron bombs, we used to call it, 1,000 pounders. So they're on racks. If you look at that way, that's the bomb bay, looking up into it. 21 of those, and that's what those dropped on the Falklands. So, you are the responsible for the bombing system. Okay. So you'll be watching that screen. Now, the Vulcan originally high altitude, let's put us at 45,000 feet. So there's a scanner in the nose of the aircraft painting a picture on that screen, approximately 180 miles of ground below. I'm going to bomb a particular target, so you would have a transparency to lay onto that screen. Okay. Using that little stick there, various other bits and pieces, you would put a fix into the bombing system. Right. And once that was in, we could commence the bomb run. So at 45,000 feet, start the bomb run, doors open, or with a blue steel released. And away we go. Yeah. We could also put a fix into the navigation system, so hence it was called the Navigation Bombing System, NBS. And part of that was fitted to Lancasters. So when we come to this guy, the navigator, we're looking at pretty antiquated equipment. But I can assure you that Vulcan's got to where they had to go to. And Vulcans flew all around the world. We used to do what they call eastabouts and westabouts, where we girdle the globe either way. So we've got to places like New Zealand, Turkey, Iran. So we got there using what I call rubber band driven equipment. But it was all good stuff in those days. This crewman here, electronics officer, AEO short. We have an alternator fitted to each engine, 4 engines, 4 alternators, plus 1 fitted to a rover gas turbine engine, which is installed underneath the right hand wing, known as the auxiliary power unit. Now that's pushing out 200 volts AC to power all sorts of things, non-essentials like lights, essential for the role and function of the aircraft and vital for the flight of the aeroplane. If we ran into problems with that lot, up there is a T-handle. You can see silhouetted in that centre front screen there. Pull that one, and on that side of the aircraft underneath there's a platform with drop down, and there's a small wind driven generator, and that gave me enough electricity to fly the aeroplane. Okay, so that was really standby. And that is still a requirement today on commercial air transport. Your 747s, etc. have that fitted. His other role was countermeasures. Now, December 1946, the British government decided we would have a deterrent. Part of that requirement was to fly at altitudes at 50,000 feet. Well, of course, in 1946, nobody ever got up to that height. Design work started on the Vulcans by Avro in January 1947. So part of the defence was height. However, we knew the Russians controlled their fighters through radio, so what's the best thing to do is to jam out all their radios. So that was the first stage in what we call the electronic countermeasures. Anyway, they didn't play fair. They shot down Gary Powers and his U-2 in 1960. in a height in excess of 60,000 feet. Oh dear. So now our aircraft were vulnerable. So they updated the ECM to not only radio but radar transmission jammers. They put a tail warning radar on the back end of the airplane, which I know worked because we were going across over Indonesia when they put 2 fighters out, because he could see, and talking to the pilots at the point they painted us with their radar. They didn't lock on with their target system. They just painted. So we then climbed from approximately 43,000 feet to 57,000 feet in a spiral climb, and of course they couldn't follow us. The atmosphere is so rare they lost lift. So yeah, it did work. Does work. Did work. I'm here today. Thank you. I'm not going to tell you what was happening. Sort of Brown Street, I think. Yeah. So that was his main roles: the distribution electrically and countermeasures. Oops, sorry. Okay. Turn around. We'll talk about conventional bomb aimer's position. Our Second World War, and only once in my whole time with Vulcans was a bomb sight fitted in there for training purposes. Now I left the Air Force before the Falklands, so I can't talk for what happened afterwards. Okay, but it was a handy place to put all our bags and any goodies be stacked up. Okay, 2 pilots, ejection seats, Martin Baker ejection seats. Top you can see the looped handle, black and yellow, it's supposed to be, a bit faded now. So if I was to pull that to start the ejection sequence, first thing would happen here, there's what we would call a gun, inverted commas, that would get rid of that canopy. That canopy would be jettisoned. So now we've got a big hole, and up the seat we go on its rail. Co-pilot first, captain second. These guys would go then through that big hole behind me. Okay. Slide down and out. 4 engines. We've got these grey levers just over here that you can see. 1 each. Let's call them throttles, shall we? This is the engine start panel over here to start all the engines. In front of that, the slot are instrumentation for the engines, so they're vertical for each engine. And then you can see the curved fighter type control stick. And underneath here you can see the rudder pedals. Okay. So now we can manoeuvre the aeroplane. Okay. Can you see them through that hole, or you see them better through that hole? The pedals. Yeah. Okay. And in front of each pilot, of course, is their instrument panels. They've got a mark meter, speed in knots, rate of climb or descent, so on and so forth, different instrumentation. That is it, very quickly, a Vulcan. Any questions?
No, it's just amazing. There's so much to take in, isn't there?
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
What's the middle seat for?
It's a navigator.
That's navigator.
Yeah. His seat only moves backwards and forwards, you see. So when we came to go out through the door, in a hurry, you'll be first.
Yeah.
Okay. You'll be second. You see, ladies first. And he would be last. And if I was sat there, I was first. It was it was a routine. You had to be trained because you only had so many seconds to get out of the aircraft. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and these are attached to, but they call them the seat pack. That's a dinghy. Right. So the door would be open, and the ladder would be open. You slide down that. Okay. Unless that undercarriage was in the way, and you grab the shiny bit and throw yourself sideways. And that was the standard method of getting it out of the aeroplane.
I think I'd prefer the ejector seats.
Right, folks.